If I'm given with another chance to live. I was young and now I am old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread. Psalm 37:25. She had a crew cut because her hair was just growing back again after completely falling out due to chemotherapy. Considering her darkened skin and other signs, it didn't seem like she would be able to live much longer. She was in her mid-40s and had two children in their teens. She and her husband seemed to have an extraordinarily close and harmonious relationship. As he was about to leave her at Shimto and go back home, she began to shed tears. She must have felt a sense of grim foreboding that this may be the last time. She wept. Her cry made him cry as well. In the end, the husband couldn't leave her alone and decided to stay with her. Cancer had spread all over her body. She had vainly tried almost every method in this world to cure her cancer. Still, out of an earnest desire to live, she was chewing roasted garlics, which are said to be good for curing cancer. Looking at this woman who was yearning to extend her life, I asked, "What kind of life do you hope to live if you recover?" Her eyes twinkled. "If I am given another chance." After a moment of thought, she said, "I'd like to love." A little taken aback by her response, I stared at her. What love? She had a unique occupation. She made and sold shirals. Since shirals have no fashion trend, their sales are not made with credit but only in cash. In other words, they made a lot of money. Everything seemed to work out just as they planned or intended. Soon, they became so arrogant that they were blind to other people's feelings or situations. All they cared about was making money. Money became a god to her. She didn't even give the slightest attention to anything else. What drove her to leave was the pleasure of making and counting money. Begrudging money spent even for a family trip, she spent all her time in making money. At some point, she began to feel tired and exhausted often. Worried about all those unhealthy signs of her body, she went to see a doctor to find out a shocking result. She was in the final stages of cancer. As she left the hospital, the situation was completely different from when she had walked in. After a series of continual surgeries, examinations, and chemotherapies, she became a total wreck. Depressed, she felt as though she had been left alone in a deep, dark cave. She was weary and tired, lonely and sad. Only a few months into her struggle against the cancer, she began to feel that she was a burden to her family. For the first time, she took a sincere look back on her life. She had been living for money and money only, and she thought about her life only as it related to wealth. There was not a single time when she had treated people around her to a meal selflessly or without any ulterior motive. She had never helped out those sick people around her. She had paid no attention when the children of poor neighbors or relatives entered the school. As far as she could recollect, she had never done any generous deeds to her neighbors. Not once. And now her money had almost run out due to cancer treatments. Feeling acute pain, she could sense that her life was nearing its end. Only then did she realize that she had failed to prepare a warm hand to hold the hands of her children. It was heartbreaking to realize that there would be no one in this world who would willingly share their warmth with her husband and children who would be left alone out in the wilderness facing a cutting wind. She felt regret, wondering what it was that she had lived so heartlessly for all this time. She was dismayed that she only knew how to sell but not how to buy back. She was sorrowful that while the time for her to be wrapped in a shroud was fast approaching, she could neither give nor receive love. She said that if she were given another chance, she would like to share selfless love to people around her. At the jaws of death, she was realizing the fact that it was not easy to open her wallet for those in need that were not her family. I told her with confidence, pray for the opportunity to give love. Pray to God for your recovery and promise Him that you will genuinely love your neighbor when given another life. Because God answers prayers that are in accordance with His will. Her eyes sparkled again as she gave a big nod. We held our hands and prayed again to Jesus for another chance.